Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. Today, I am with one of my very good friend and my um, the courageous where we got second place. Mr. Scott is one of the uh, person who likes the story, and maybe his team likes the story. I like to listen from his view, what he and his team thinks, why it was important. And first of all, I would like to welcome him. Please welcome Mr. Scott. How are you, Scott?
I'm good. Thank you very much. How are you?
Fine, thank you. Tell us something about yourself.
Well, my name is Scott Branan, and I'm the owner of Beyond Entertainment here in Cape Coral, Florida. We kind of have a very interesting business model. We have a side of our business that does installation work for country clubs and churches and schools and auditoriums and restaurants. And we also have a live production side of our business that does live events outdoors up to 8,000 people that we do for the city of Cape Coral and also the city of Naples and several other individual entities around here. And then when we make a profit, assuming that we do, unless it's a year like 2020, we usually make a profit, then we take that money and we use that for the other side of our business, which is called Beyond Entertainment. And that's where we create our own content. It's all family friendly. We have some that's just family friendly, but a lot of our content is Christian and reaches out into the masses to spread the gospel. And so that's our tent making business, so to speak. And then we use that money to pay for the projects that are creative that we feel called, that God has called us to do.
Praise the Lord. That's a great news. So do you have people who are working on this fundraising and all that project? You have a big team, or how it is?
Yeah, so we have several full-time people that work here at Beyond. You can see the background behind me is actually, we have an event room that we rent out in the front. There's actually two churches that rent out that room. One church rents on Friday and Saturday, and another church rents on Thursday and Sunday. And they rent that out, and we have different folks that work here and specifically with them, and they go out, they do the installation work, but then we also have production people that go out and do the production work. So we also have a small studio here in our, actually right behind where I'm sitting. And it has folks that we use to do specific things for it. So our personnel is kind of all over the place. We have part-time and full-time folks that work here, but they all work here for the same goal.
Such a wonderful ministry. God has blessed you. Just to let you know, folks, when I was in the middle of conversation with Scott, and when I was going through his page and everything, I don't know, I felt so blessed when I was reading his web page and Facebook and everything. I was really blessed to see how God has given them great ideas. And with those talents and gifts and ideas, they have really worked very hard. And with that hard work, God has blessed them as well. So I'm also blessed. I got, okay, Scott, you tell us about our story. How did you find that story?
Yeah, so we recently had a film festival, and we had 61 different entries, and very pleased with all of them. There was a couple that were kind of weird, I got to be honest with you, but we appreciate stories like yours. And I wasn't able to read all of the entries, of course, but I know that there were several of them like yours that were very, very heartfelt and really had a message that really spoke to people. And we had both screenplays that had been written, and we also had feature films and short films that had been created and made. Which, by the way, just if I can insert this in, came from Canada and Japan, Germany, India, and of course, the United States and all over the world. So it was kind of cool that we were doing that. But I was excited that was the case.
That's wonderful. I'm so blessed to hear that Courageous, a true story of Hannah, competed with so many people. I didn't know that. When you hear all these stories, you feel so blessed and you feel so honored that, oh my God, I competed with so many people. And then it's such a blessing, I would say. It's such an honor.
Yeah,
that's wonderful.
Yeah, we actually had, and I believe your category is drama. Right. And there were more in that category than any other category. In fact, there was more in the drama category than all of the other categories combined. which if I can put in a little plug here. So I appreciate the dramas, and I'm glad that we have those, especially those like yours that are, true stories, or that are, really, really important to tell a message of what's really going on out there in the world. But there's also a lot of unrepresented categories. So I just want to encourage people, if they're writers or if they're creative people, that there's a lot of other categories like comedy and action and things like that, that love to see some more in those categories too, because everybody, this is my dumb philosophy. I hope you'll allow me the strangeness here, but my philosophy is that there's two kinds of films to reach people out there. There's harvest films, not the company Harvest, but like the films that are of the harvest. And then there's seed planting films. And I really believe that we need both. For a while there, it was kind of, well, if you just did seed planting, then you weren't really doing Christian stuff or something. Or if you're just doing harvest, that you were doing boring old, biblical, whatever. And so there's really room for both, because you need several times of seed planting before the harvest. But every person that we minister to or that we talk to, we don't know where they are in the process. They might, that might be the first seed that's planted of what we've written, of what we've shared with them. It might be the 10th seed or the 100th seed, or it might be the last seed that they need before the harvest. So, all of those are important. And I just feel like God has put, just like God has put a message and a story in your heart and what you've written down. God has put things in my heart and stories, and from the experiences that I've been through, I'm just going to guess they probably were a little different, and we've probably been through different things in our lives. But that's perfect, because God wants us to reach different people in different ways. And so that's what's exciting to me, is to be able to see all these different people from all over the world be able to share their stories that can connect with someone else somewhere all over. It's awesome.
You will not believe, I'm the first Christian woman from Pakistan who's doing such thing. There's nobody you can find. Every time I think, and I feel honored that God has used me. He brought me to Canada. Now I'm raising this awareness and raising the voice for the persecuted church. I don't know how many people knows about Pakistani Christians and how much they know about the persecution there and what level they know. I don't know. But I think with the stories which I have tried to co-write, actually my scriptwriter is Shelley Pino. So I'm not the main writer, but I have the story which I gave it to her. So we did both, a lot of prayers, a lot of understanding and back and forth communication. They took a lot of time to write, because it's a real story. It's hard to explain what happened, and in writing and in making it like a movie, it is complicated.
Yeah. It's amazing though. Sometimes the real life stories are sometimes the ones that are most hard hitting. There's been a few stories that I've read in my lifetime that after I read them, I was like, okay, if I would have come to somebody and said, hey, I made up a story and you want to hear it, and I told them the story, they'd be like, okay, there's no way that could be true. So they would never go for it. But it was true. It's an absolutely true story. And so I think those are the ones that just kind of tug at people's hearts, and they go, wow, that's just unbelievably amazing. That first of all, that happened, and that second of all, that a person was able to live through that and to be on the other side of that in the point in life that they are now. So that's awesome.
It's God's grace. I'm just honored. I have no words to thank my Lord to bring me here and do this much, and bringing so many people in my life and teaching me English and making this happen. So it's very different story. So tell us something about what you think about persecution. What do you say to the audience? What is our job? Since we are so blessed here, we are so abundantly blessed with everything. So what is our job? Why and what we should do for the persecuted church?
It's such a difficult situation, because I actually see some persecution that's really starting to come even to the United States now, and the things that are going on that's here. It's a tough dance, because we want to be loving, and we want to show that we're part of society, and that we're helping, but then there's times when I feel like we just need to stand up, and our voice needs to be heard about these things. And so there's a balance of sometimes we have well-meaning Christians that are out there who make a stand and who stand up, but how they stand up is kind of not helping the situation, and then we have those that just sit and do nothing and just kind of watch and wonder why things are happening around them, and it's kind of frustrating that but there's a lot of people who I think understand that kind of persecution and that kind of situation doesn't happen overnight. It happens slowly over time, and one thing and then another thing and then a couple of things and a couple more things until the entire society has gotten to a point to where that's almost the norm. And so yeah, it's a difficult thing. Like I can't even imagine all of the things that people have gone through in Pakistan, not growing up in that situation. It's very difficult for folks. I was originally born in the Kansas City, Missouri area. So I'm like right in the middle of the United States. If you just kind of draw a line right in the middle, boom, that's where I'm at. And I've been in Florida for 20 years, but here in the United States, we're kind of in a whole other different situation and a whole other different world. And it's difficult to understand what those folks are going through, but I do believe I understand how they got there. And I believe how they got there is that there just weren't enough people who would stand up and take a stand and let their voice be known, and make sure that people understand in a loving way that this cannot continue. This is not right. And that's true in political aspects. That's true in religious aspects. That's true in societal aspects. There's always something, it seems like, that we should be standing up for and having a voice for others who might not have that voice for themselves. And even though I'm from the middle of the United States, even I recognize that there's just a lot of places around the world that obviously don't have what we have. I've been to India and I've been to Peru multiple times, and I remember sitting in India. The photographer took a picture of me. I'm literally just sitting in the middle of a room, just staring out a window. I didn't even realize that the photographer was there, to be honest with you. And it was just kind of an overwhelming, where I was looking out. We were in a fairly decent building. It had marble floors and at least had windows and lights and stuff like that. But I was looking out over a village that literally from the wall that separated us to as far as you could see was just run down buildings with tarps and kids playing in the street and just mud and filth and trash. And it was just a whole of the world, just literally like 6 inches away on the other side of the wall. And I just remember it just was overwhelming. Like, it's like, I'm the kind of person I want to help. I want to see what I can do to improve a situation. And sometimes people just need a little bit of help to get them to where they need to be, and then they're good for a while. And that's kind of what I like to do. But sometimes the situation is it's so large and so overwhelming. I just sat there and was like, what can I do? I'm just one person, But I realized in that moment that even though I'm just one person, there's a lot of just one persons out there. And we all have that one thing in common, and that is God. And God has the Lord has the ability to do amazing things, even with our futile little efforts and stuff. So I just want to encourage people to correctly stand for what we believe, and to make sure that our voices are known, that people understand that if we don't speak out now, there will soon come a time when it's too late.
Yeah, you're right. And since we are blessed with money, life, health, everything, even if you just take out your $5, which is maybe McDonald's, KFC, pizza, something, maybe a coffee, I don't know, if even you contribute every week, that's just $20-$30. For us, $20-$30 is nothing, but that conversion is a huge amount. And there are people in Pakistan, those who got persecuted and they had to leave their homes and they're hiding for their safety and life and children. There are people I know personally, those who need financial, moral, physical, mental, all kinds of help. So if you are interested to support, please come forward and help. First, we would like to make Hannah's Dream and Courageous. They are the ones, that's what God gave me the idea to make the movie. And once the movies are done, paying after with the crew or whatever, whoever is working hard on this project for last 1 year, then the idea is to sponsor families. And those sponsored families would be from Pakistan, Malaysia, and there's so many other places they're hiding. They're just running away from their safety of life. So that's the idea of making these movies. It's not because Hannah wants to make money or Hannah Dream wants to make money. This is not my intention. Thank you so much, Scott, for all your time, and I really appreciate. And if you need to discuss anything, I will leave his information below and also my information below, so you can contact us later once you God touches your heart listening this story, also listening to what Scott is doing. And if you are passionate about helping his ministry, his work, anything God touches you with that, please do it. It's not because of me or him or anything. It's God's work, which we are trying to do. And we are trying to ask body of Christ to stand with us and support us so we can be blessed earthly and heavenly. Thank you so much, Scott, for taking out your time. I really appreciate that.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Glad to be here.
God bless you. Bye.
You too. Bye-bye.